We are less than a week away from the trade deadline, and we're not going to stop talking about it. I'm Mariah, Janos, joined by Evan Lazar. Evan, obviously, there's been the rumors about Stephon Gilmore leaving the Patriots. What's the latest that you've heard on that situation?
Well, the Patriots and Stephon Gilmore had some contract negotiations earlier in the offseason, carried into training camp as well. And that's when the rumors sort of started. This morning, the news came out from the Greg Hill show on EEI that Gilmore's house is up for sale. I do want to say, though, that Gilmore lives here in the Massachusetts area only during the season, and he lives here without his family as well. The family is all back in South Carolina, where he is from. So maybe he's just looking for new digs in the Boston area. It's not a situation where he's, picking up and moving his entire family out of Boston or anything like that, like what we saw with Tom Brady last year when he put his house on the market. That was him and Giselle making that decision, where in this case, I think Gilmore, it's a little bit of a different scenario. But again, they had these conversations with teams around the draft about trading Gilmore back when they had some issues with the salary cap and they were going to be tight up against the cap and didn't have much wiggle room. But so far, no recent trade discussions have really come to fruition. Nothing really recent to report in terms of teams calling about Gilmore or the Patriots actively shopping Gilmore. So I think a lot of this is pretty old news at this point, going all the way back to training camp. And the house thing is interesting, but again, I think that maybe he's just looking for new digs in Foxborough.
All right, so if not Gilmore, is there anybody else that you could see the Patriots trading?
I think the hardest part about the Patriots selling is, along with Gilmore, guys like Joe Thuney, Julian Edelman, those guys are maybe players that could be on the way out if they're thinking about transitioning and getting into more of a rebuilding type of season. But what are you going to get back in return for those players is the real interesting question. Thuney obviously is on that tag, and he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. So is a team going to give up a first or a second round pick for a player that they can sign for absolutely no draft pick compensation in a few months? That one I think is a little bit lofty. Edelman, what are you going to get back from him for him at this point? Is trading Julian Edelman for a day 3 pick, is that worth it for the Patriots to ship out a guy that's really the face of the franchise at this point? So I see the Patriots being pretty quiet at this deadline, simply because even if they do dangle out some of their players that might be worth something on the trade market, I don't think that they're going to get back the return that's going to make the deal worthwhile.
All right, well, we'll have all of our answers come this Tuesday. For all of our Patriots coverage, head to clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel over at Patriots Press Pass.